coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
Well, I think he has every right to feel good about what we've heard today.
Even in its incomplete form, however, the Mueller report outlines disturbing evidence that President Trump engaged in obstruction of justice and other misconduct.
D.C. lawmakers offered mixed reaction to potential obstruction of justice charges against the president. Special counsel Robert Mueller's 448-page report was made public today, at least most of it. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Reed.
And I'm Emily Spain. Thanks for joining us. The report reveals how President Trump felt threatened by the investigation and tried to get his staff to fire Mueller. NBC's Blaine Alexander has the story from Washington.
Nearly 2 years in the making, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Russia report is finally public with redactions. According to the report, when President Trump learned that Mueller had been appointed in May of 2017, he panicked, launching an expletive, saying, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency." In Mueller's 448-page report, he details several examples of potential obstruction of justice, including the firing of FBI Director James Comey and one instance where the president directed then White House lawyer Don McGahn to order Mueller's firing. McGahn refused. The report says that the president's efforts were mostly unsuccessful, largely because the people around him declined to carry out orders. But that does not exonerate him, Mueller writing, "If we had confidence that the president clearly did not commit obstruction of justice, we would so state." Still, President Trump declaring victory.
I'm having a good day, too. It was called No Collusion, No Obstruction.
Mueller found no criminal conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia, something highlighted today by Attorney General William Barr, echoing a frequent phrase from the president.
As he said from the beginning, there was, in fact, no collusion.
That not sitting well with Democrats. Also upset, the president's lawyers got a look at the report earlier this week, days before Congress.
The special counsel made clear that he did not exonerate the president, and the responsibility now falls to Congress to hold the president accountable for his actions,
strengthening their calls to see the full report without redactions.
Attorney General Barr will be on Capitol Hill next month to testify. Democrats are wanting Mueller to testify as well.
As for Missouri reaction, Senator Roy Blunt said the Senate Intelligence Committee is able to look at all of the report and believe it will assist us in bringing our investigation of the Russian involvement in our elections to a conclusion. Missouri Congressman Blaine Luetkemeyer said today every American has the opportunity to see for themselves what President Trump has been saying for 2 years. There was no collusion.
New terminal construction, parking, and more. New flights out of Columbia Regional Airport were things discussed at a forum today. The community's response comes less than a week after the airport temporarily closed. KOMU 8's Randy Bass is live at COU with what was said earlier today.
There's a lot of changes happening here at Columbia Regional Airport. I spoke with airport leaders this morning who told me you can expect to see even more changes in coming weeks, months, and even years. Officials confirmed that COU's new terminal design should be finalized this year, with construction starting next year and the grand opening in 2022. People at the meeting suggested Columbia Regional should work to add flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, and Las Vegas. Columbia Community Relations Director Stephen Sapp said COU has seen a lot of growth over the last 10 years. He also talked about the problem COU faced last week when the airport closed for runway repairs.
Some people had out-of-pocket expenses that were unexpected. With all the sincerity that we had from last week, we continue to say that we're sorry for that and we apologize. And we certainly appreciate their support, and we've seen a good return of passengers to Columbia Regional since we reopened and flights resumed fully.
News has kept you up to date on everything going on at the airport this month. Taking a look back, Thursday, April 4th was the start of a string of cancellations that eventually led to a full closure of the airport the following Monday, April 8th. The airport was closed for almost a week while completing renovations of that secondary runway. The airport reopened and resumed commercial service earlier this week. Now, in the last several days, both United Airlines and American Airlines have announced new flights between Columbia and Chicago. That means starting in May, Columbia Regional will have 7 flights leaving for Chicago each day. Live at Columbia Regional Airport, I'm Randy Bass, KOMU 8 News.
Well, it's a cooler day today, that's for sure, thanks to the cold front that rolled through a little earlier on this morning. Temperatures 55 in Columbia and Jefferson City, 58 up in Macon, and 59 getting close to Boonville at this point, getting close to the 60-degree mark. Now here you can see we do have rain mainly along and south of Interstate 44 at this point. This is a 6-hour loop, so you can see we have had just a few brief sprinkles that have been rolling through, otherwise just a lot of cloud cover. Here's that cold front I was talking about that is bringing that cooler air on the other side of it, and winds in from the north as well. If we look at this hour by hour overnight, we're still going to be mostly cloudy. Some of us could have some patches of clear sky, but mainly we're mostly cloudy through the morning, and then as we head towards tomorrow afternoon, that will all clear out. We're going to be mostly sunny tomorrow, at least by the afternoon, but it's also going to be breezy. Wind gusts around 35 miles per hour from the north. We're going to calm down for Easter weekend, though. Have a look at that really day by day and even into next week as well. Plus, look at how much rain we saw the past 24 hours coming up.
Okay, Kenton, thank you very much. A House bill would allow for all public Missouri colleges to allow guns on campus. The Senate held a public meeting to hear from both sides. KOMU 8's Antoinette Miller is here in the studio to tell us how people feel about this legislation.
House Bill 575 would allow designated campus protection officers to carry concealed firearms in case of danger. Staff and faculty could also volunteer to carry weapons on campus. People raise concerns about just how effective a measure like this would be. Some students think the most severe scenarios is when it could fail.
I know one of the major issues is that they think that allowing guns on campus will decrease the amount of sexual assault, and I highly disagree with that. I think it adds more danger to those situations, actually.
Parkland Commission, as I indicated, indicates that their conclusion is high school campuses are safer if there are armed teachers on campus, and I believe the same considerations apply in respect of university property.
Any protection officer would have to have a CCW permit in order to carry. The bill's sponsor, Dean Dorman, stressed it is not an open carry bill for just anyone. In the studio, Antoinette Miller, KOMU 8 News.
A St. Louis teacher accused of molesting a student is now being accused of trying to hire a hitman to kill the child and his family. 36-year-old Deontay Taylor and his 66-year-old boyfriend Michael Johnson were both in court yesterday. They both pleaded not guilty to several charges. Police said while Taylor was working as a teacher's aide in 2015, he molested a 7-year-old student. Taylor, who has HIV, was arrested in November of last year after his DNA matched samples found on his former student. There is no mention of the student's medical status.
The Beatles were about to break up. Mizzou football was set to win the Big 8, and the Vietnam War was in full tilt. That was 50 years ago. Here in Columbia, something very historic was about to happen. KOMU 8's Garrett Tias joins us live downtown to tell us what happened on this date in 1969.
I'm standing here outside the Central Bank of Boone County, where underneath this fountain, a time capsule was filled and put underground on this date 50 years ago. The capsule held phone books, city maps, certificates of deposits, signatures of state and local officials at the time, such as Governor Warren Hearns, and the main event, an essay contest for middle school students who predicted what 2019 would be like. The winner predicted the right number of high schools and junior high schools in Columbia.
It's awesome, and what's even more fun than seeing that essay that I wrote is seeing all the people. I see all these familiar faces from back in that day that I probably haven't seen a lot of since that day. So to come back here and see all these people from the community and from my childhood gathered here is just really fun.
50-year capsule in June. Reporting live from Columbia, Garrett Tias, KOMU 8 News.
Here's what's happening right now. The man convicted of killing a St. Louis County police officer has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. A judge sentenced Trenton Forster today in the 2016 death of Blank Snyder. He was found guilty of first-degree murder in February. Coming up, a St. Louis area parent reacts to his son getting more than he bargained for at school.
Plus, a new bill to change tobacco laws across the country.
And it is going to be cooler tonight. Temperatures are down into the 40s, but mostly cloudy. It's warmer for our Easter weekend. We should see mostly sunny skies, but next week there are more rain chances. Back in the forecast. Tracking it all for you coming up after the break.
And you're taking a live look over Jefferson City. Your time is 5:08. This is KOMU 8 News First at 5. Coverage you can count on. Welcome back. A disturbing video shows a St. Louis area middle schooler taking a brutal beating in a classroom. The boy was punched nearly 20 times before the attack was finally broken up. KSTK's Brandon Moreno talked to the boy's father to get his take.
It's just the second time Patrick Vining has watched his son being punched in the face at school.
Oof.
When he first saw the video, he thought his son may have had something to do with it.
So you went into it with an open mind saying, I might have to reprimand my son as well.
Right, absolutely.
Then he saw the video.
And that changed everything. I mean, there's no way you can call that a fight because it wasn't a fight. It was an assault on my son.
An assault that went on for more than 10 seconds before anyone stopped it. So we asked the Wentzville School District what they tell their teachers to do in a situation like this. They said in terms of staff expectations, in the case of physical altercation, we ask that staff direct the students to stop and contact the office for assistance. Now Patrick and his son Ian are fighting for change, releasing this video to help others dealing with similar situations at school.
This is a bigger issue than just your son, right?
Absolutely. This is a much bigger issue. He told me that if we could have one kid, it would be worth it.
So this doesn't happen to anyone else.
The Wentzville Police Department says it's investigating the fight, and since it involved a juvenile, the department isn't allowed to comment any further. Content.
Well, again, it is a cool night tonight. Our temperatures are actually getting down. We're in the 50s right now. They'll be down into the middle 40s by sunrise. But don't worry, a big warm-up is expected for Easter weekend. I'll break it down day by day and look ahead to next week and look ahead to how much rain we've seen as well. It's coming out.
In your national news, Uber added a new function to its phone app. It will push out an alert for riders to confirm the driver's picking up the right person. When an Uber is ordered, riders are frequently reminded to check the car and driver's name. Uber executives say the Uber app will also prominently display the new safety notifications. The company says it will also be working with universities to develop pickup zones.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell announced plans for lawmakers to raise the minimum age to buy tobacco products from 18 to 21. The bill will cover all tobacco products, including e-cigs. It also says 95% of adult smokers began using tobacco products before they turned 21. McConnell also announced he's seeking re-election.
Well, if you thought last month felt a bit warmer than usual, you are not alone. The National Oceanic and Atmosphere Administration says last month was the second hottest March on the entire planet. Only March of 2016 was hotter. Analysts say this could be a sign of climate change. The average Arctic sea ice coverage was nearly 6% below the numbers from 1981 to 2010.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at how much, well, first let's take a look at our sky cam here over the Lake of the Ozarks. On our first alert weather cam, we have a mix of, looks like a lot of cloud cover, but some sun poking through. And this is how much rain we've seen over the past about 24 hours now at this point, pretty much last night for a lot of these folks. You can see around an inch at the Columbia Regional Airport, a little less, closer to half an inch on MU's campus downtown Columbia, and that is actually pretty accurate. We did have more rain south of Columbia, and then that system actually moved towards the northeast and kind of missed most of that downtown area. It was more southern and eastern Columbia, actually. Jefferson City, though, around a quarter of an inch there, and Lake of the Ozarks also around an inch, and Avaz also around that inch mark as well for total rainfall accumulation from that system last night. Let's get right into Easter weekend right now. A lot of folks want to know what to expect. As you can see, it's going to be warm, 70 Saturday, around 80 on Easter Sunday. Might be a little sweaty with all the kids running around getting all the eggs, but we are going to be mostly sunny, actually abundantly sunny on Saturday. Some clouds increasing slowly throughout the day on Sunday. I'll show you that track here in just another moment. But right now, this is current satellite and radar. You can see this storm system is still off to our south. As I showed you yesterday, this is going to continue to push through. It's already produced a lot of tornado warnings and reports of tornadoes as well down here in the south. That's going to continue off into those southern states. Otherwise, we see just this rain that's getting past Interstate 44 right now as it heads towards the Boot Heel. The rest of us are going to be dry for the rest of our night, and we're going to be seeing mostly cloudy skies for the rest of our night as well. If we look at this here hour by hour, still mostly cloudy tonight, but tomorrow we are going to see those clouds decrease. So you'll still have clouds in the morning, but we're going to see much more sunshine by the afternoon, even middle afternoon, and especially into that sunset time period as well. Should be a nice sunset for us for the end of a week. Now, if we look at our Saturday, again, abundantly sunny for most of us in the central part of the United States, north to south, but we have rain over here, over towards our east, kind of the remnants still of what's of the low pressure system that's getting through us right now. And then there's also a little bit over here towards the west, but otherwise a lot of dry time and warm conditions here in between. And you can see also on Sunday, Easter Sunday, there's a low pressure system that will slowly be moving through Wyoming, getting into the Dakotas. We're still going to be mostly sunny in our morning hours, but by the afternoon we could have some of that cloud cover already starting to increase. So by the end of the day towards sunset on Easter, could have more clouds there. But then as we head into Monday, we're looking mostly to partly cloudy and actually fairly dry. I think we'll hold off on some of those rain showers first on Monday, but I think as we head into our day on Tuesday and even into Wednesday as well, that's when we're going to have better chances for some showers to roll through, kind of off and on, general showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder. We'll keep you updated as that gets closer for us. It looks like it's going to be a stationary boundary that's going to be close to us for a couple days, which is why we have multiple chances for rain over the course of a few days. So 44 degrees for our low temperature tonight. It's a little cooler than it was this morning, actually, with gusts up to 25 miles per hour, so breezy at times, otherwise mostly cloudy, remember. Then decreasing clouds tomorrow, high temperature around the 60-degree mark, gusts around 35 miles per hour there, so it is still breezy on your Friday. It's going to be calmer, though, for the weekend. On Saturday, maybe gusts around 20 miles per hour, could get up to 25 miles per hour there on Easter. But if you look, we are jumping 10 degrees the next 3 days, 60 to 70 to 80 by Easter Sunday, 77 then on Monday with mostly cloudy skies, and then those chances for rain, especially on Tuesday and Wednesday. High temperatures, though, are pretty seasonal next week in those upper 60s and lower 70s. We'll keep you updated with the latest. Stay with us.
Kenton, thank you very much. Coming up in Your Health, another reason why you shouldn't skip breakfast.
We've been working our way through the Mueller report, and tonight, what it says and what it doesn't say, and what now. Also, if you're of a certain age, why that childhood vaccination might not necessarily protect you from the measles. Important information when we see you back here tonight.
Welcome back in your health news. Health officials are investigating a deadly listeria outbreak involving deli sliced meats and cheeses. The CDC says a total of 8 people have so far become ill in 4 states. All had to be hospitalized and 1 died. The patients all reported eating different types of meats and cheeses at deli counters at various stores, but no common supplier has been identified. Researchers in Brazil studied the eating habits of over 100 heart attack patients. Those who regularly skipped breakfast and ate dinner late at night were 4 to 5 times more likely to die or have another heart attack within a month. Past studies have found people who eat this way often have other unhealthy habits like smoking and a sedentary lifestyle. According to the CDC, in 2008, approximately 216,000 women were diagnosed with high-grade cervical lesions, which can progress into cancer. But in 2016, a decade after the HPV vaccine was introduced, that number dropped to an estimated 196,000 women. The vaccine is recommended for girls and boys starting at 11 years old and can be given up to age 26.
A final check of your forecast when we come back.
A recap now of one of our top stories. Mid-Missourians focused on new terminal construction, parking, even more new flights out of Columbia Regional Airport at a public forum today. KOMU 8's Randy Bass is live at COU with more about what they said earlier.
The main takeaway from today's meeting, change is coming for the Columbia Regional Airport. They told me that Airport leaders collaborated with airlines who fly out of here to bring new and additional flights to COU. Things are going to get a lot busier around here next month too when they add new flights to Chicago. Starting next month, there will be 7 flights that leave here each day that head to Chicago. They also told me to expect construction in the coming weeks and months and years. They said they're adding 200 additional parking spaces this summer if weather allows, and they also hope to open up this new terminal that they've been talking about in 2022. Live at the Columbia Regional Airport, I'm Randy Bass.
All right, temperatures in the 50s still, almost 60 though in Boonville. We're at 55 in Columbia and Jefferson City, 55 in Mexico too. Temperatures in the 50s all evening long under mostly cloudy skies. Then by sunrise, we're in the middle 40s, and we're still going to be cloudy in the morning, but you'll see a lot of sunshine by the end of the day. High temperatures right around 60. Then we go to 70 on Saturday, and how about 80 for Easter?
It's going to be a warm one. Sometimes it's snowing on Easter.
Like last year.
Yeah.
That is our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here at 6.